Back in April I made a video about the out of stamina parry punishes for all heroes, and I got a lot of comments on that one, and a lot of these comments were about suggestions for different or better combos. So this is the updated version of that video with the community feedback. I wanna give my biggest thanks to everyone who leaves these kinds of comments because they are very useful, and I'm pretty sure that the community likes them as well. This way we can all get better at the game, and I hope you also find it interesting. And if you have any additional suggestions, you are very welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. And with that said, let's get started. And we begin with the Warden. The maximum damage you can deal off of an out of stamina parry is zone attack, any heavy attack at 60 damage. This consumes a lot of stamina, so alternatively you can do a top light, any heavy attack at 55 damage. Blazer Echo and I'm Not Shy both suggest doing a crushing counter if the attack came from above. They then suggest following up with the shoulder bash and double light at total 58 damage, but the shoulder bash is not guaranteed. However, it's still a very good suggestion because after the crushing counter you're guaranteed a top light attack at a total of 55 damage. And after this you may actually be able to get the shoulder bash as well, so that is 73 damage total if it connects. Legend Among Gods Plays and Warlock Holmes both suggest doing a double side heavy, and that used to be a thing, I can attest to that, but unfortunately it doesn't work anymore. And finally, XX Tenson, he suggests doing a dash forward heavy to any heavy, and that also used to be a thing, but not anymore. Next up on our list we have the Conqueror. And to begin with, Matteo S, Freygar, T, ABK, Gospel Pagan, Oliver Barabay, and Raul Lavariega all suggest doing a double side heavy, but unfortunately that no longer works and the second heavy is not guaranteed. And neither is the double top heavy, so sorry about that, Steve Roberts. Instead what you should do is to do a charged top heavy for 44 damage. DOOD suggests following this up with a light attack, and that is a very good suggestion, but unfortunately it's not guaranteed. It might work in real life though, because it is very fast, so you can still try it out if you want to. And the next hero on the list is the Peacekeeper. And her maximum combo is light heavy light attack at a total of 52 damage. 10 of these is bleed damage. Both Marcelo Luis and Zero Effort corrected me in my last video, and they mentioned that the top heavy deals more damage than side heavies, and that was true at the time, but now after the rework the second heavy deals the same amount of damage regardless where it comes from, so the direction of these attacks don't matter. Another suggestion was made by Joseph Payne, Joshua Chang and I Love Broccoli. And that is first part zone attack, top heavy to light attack. This deals 49 damage. 10 of this is bleed damage, and like before, this is from 5 ticks of 2 damage. And finally, Joseph Payne had another suggestion, and that was to change side, do a side heavy, top heavy and light attack, but that no longer works unfortunately. So let's move on to the next one, which is the Lawbringer. And the Lawbringer's maximum punish is delayed light to top heavy for 55 damage. Remember to delay the light attack, because if you don't, it's not gonna resolve in a knockdown. Faram the Lawbringer suggests doing an unblockable after this, so you can bait another out of stamina parry, and that is a very good idea. Thank you very much for that. An alternative combo that you can do, which is very good if you are being ganked, that is side heavy, long arm, side heavy. Unfortunately the side heavy, also known as make way, has been nerfed to only 10 damage, so this only deals 40 damage now. But an alternative to this, which was suggested to me by Raider Nation, that is to do a zone attack and then the long arm. This deals 52 damage. In my previous video I mentioned that top heavies work as well, but they don't, so thank you very much for pointing that out, Patrick Tracy, TC Lask, Zero Effort and Gunnar Mulstad. And finally, Marco Antonini, he suggests doing a side heavy to top heavy, which almost works. It needs to be side heavy to another side heavy, but since the first side heavy has been nerfed to only 10 damage, so this is not as good as it used to be. But thanks anyway. Now let's move on to the next hero, which is the Centurion. And his maximum punish is the notoriously difficult, heavy, delayed charged heavy, charge bash, Eagle's Talons at an incredible 90 damage. Throwing the charged heavy too fast results in not pinning the opponent and not guaranteeing the rest of the combo, while if you do it too late you're gonna end up doing an Eagle's Talons. An easy alternative could be, like Anonymous 1 suggests, a zone attack of which 2 of the 3 attacks will actually hit, dealing a pretty decent 50 damage. And now it is time for the Gladiator. I was very happy to find out that one of my favorite out of stamina throw punishers of all time also works on out of stamina parries, and a big thank you to Fiery Darkray and Spec for pointing this out. So what you do is feint a heavy attack, backward slide attack, a skewer which may be slightly delayed, throw, heavy, heavy feint, toe stab, heavy. And I counted all this madness to around 82 damage, or maybe it's just 80, I'm not entirely sure, the bleeding was insane. So thank you very much for that, that was incredible. Now Chelsea suggests a different variation of this combo where you do a delayed backstep heavy into a delayed skewer and then continue with the combo. So same combo, different variation, but there's more coming up. Fireflick1232 suggests another improvement, and that is to just go straight into the toe stab without doing the heavy feint first. It saves you some stamina, but it requires timing. All of these variants are difficult to pull off, but Fandango's got your back because he got an easy combo for you which does not require delay or anything. And that is forward dodge, backward slide, skewer, throw forward, heavy, heavy feint, toe stab, heavy. And that again, 82 damage. So this seems to be the easiest one, but thank you very much for all your suggestions, it was very interesting to try out. And now let's move on to the last of the Knight heroes, the Black Prior. And we now have a new maximum punish for the Black Prior, and that is all thanks to Raider Nation. And by the way, this guy is now known as Viking Nation, and I noticed that he also has a small YouTube channel where he regularly uploads For Honor content, so do check that out if you want to see some dual gameplay. And the combo itself is quite simple, forward dash heavy, heavy, and that is 55 damage. And also the direction of the parry and the heavy attack, they don't matter. I got some more suggestions from Person Who Likes Pie, Beefwell69, Generation Pilot and Lex Come Out. They all suggested different variations of 2 heavies, and that definitely used to be a thing, but it has since been nerfed. And finally, Overlord suggests doing a side heavy followed by an unblockable, but unfortunately this doesn't seem to work. But using an unblockable is not such a bad idea actually, because you can use that after your maximum punish, and then you can bait another parry and then continue. And with that out of the way, we move on to the first Viking hero, the Raider. And we now have a new maximum punish which is sponsored by Mystery Dark, and that is forward dash light attack to zone attack. If you don't want to use all your stamina, you can also do a forward dash light attack to top heavy. But perhaps an even better combo is by Willdog1133, and that is to delay the light attack and then do a zone attack, because then you get parried and you will maybe out of stamina, so that is also good if you are into that. And now we are moving on to the next hero, which is the Warlord. And the Warlord's maximum punish is top light, side heavy. Generation Pilot suggested doing 2 heavies, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to work anymore. And the next stop is at the Berserker. And the Berserker has 2 maximum punishes, both at 57 damage. The first one is delayed light attack, side heavy, any light attack. Remember to delay the light attack, because if you just throw it out there, it's not gonna resolve in a knockdown. The second variant is to do a forward dash light attack to side heavy and any light attack. Both Beefwell69 and Squall Lionheart suggested to do a double side heavy, but that unfortunately doesn't work, and neither does it if you unlock first, so that is a shame though. And now on to the next hero, which is the Valkyrie. And her maximum punish is sponsored by Deja Vu, Joshua Chang, Stepan Familia and Marco Antonini. And it is forward dash light, light, sweep, heavy. There used to be a better combo which was actually pointed out to me by Mystery Dark, Navy, Eric Aidlow and Anand Veraswamy. And that unfortunately doesn't work anymore, but it used to be heavy, top light, sweep. Do note that this attack can actually still hit if the opponent dodges to the wrong direction. And finally, Honestly Human and Ghostman29, they suggest another combo which I couldn't make work either unfortunately. That is dash light, heavy, sweep. It can be dodged by either dodging left or right, so it doesn't seem to work anymore. And that covers the Valkyrie, so now it is time to move on to the Highlander. And the Highlander's maximum punish is light attack to top heavy. This deals 60 damage, but be aware that if you press or hold down the heavy button too early, you're gonna end up doing an unblockable heavy which deals 5 less damage. But as Koishi Best Waifu points out, this might not be such a bad thing after all, because now you're in offensive stance and you're able to do your kicks and grabs, so maybe this is not the worst scenario anyway. Now finally, Tactical Camper, the Human Montage and Jonathan Yu. They all suggest another really cool combo which I wasn't aware of, and that is to do an unblockable heavy, immediately kick and then do another unblockable heavy. But unfortunately the kick is not guaranteed and can be dodged. I will say though that maybe not everyone is aware that you can dodge this, so it might actually work most of the time. And now let's move on to the last of the Viking heroes, the Shaman. And her maximum and also easiest punish is to do a side dodge heavy to left unblockable heavy at a total of 60 damage. A good trick here that you can do, it was pointed out by the Case Holder, and that is to follow it up with a top light bleed attack. It's not guaranteed though, but in many cases it does hit. Another combo at almost the same damage, which includes bleed, was suggested by Kaik, and that is any light attack and then top or right heavy and then top light. It deals 1 less damage, but it includes bleeding, which is a good thing if you are Shaman. And while on the topic, there is another combo that you can do if the opponent is already bleeding. That is side dodge heavy attack, top or right heavy soft feint into backstep into Predator's Mercy. And this crazy combo deals 70 damage. So now let's move into samurai territory, and we begin with Kensei. And Kensei's absolute maximum punish is to do a forward dash light attack to top heavy. This deals 62 damage, but it seems to be unsafe, so you can be guard broken afterwards. A safer version would be to do a top light, top heavy. It deals 60 damage, but it is safe though. And now we move on to the next hero, which is the Shugoki. And the Shugoki's maximum punish is zone attack to charge top heavy at 65 damage. Alternatively, if you want to regain some health, you can do a zone attack to a heavy which you immediately soft feint into Demon's Embrace. This only deals 45 damage, but you do get some health back. Big thank you to QLMX for pointing this out. Another cool trick that I wasn't aware of before, it was mentioned by Mighty Madman 90, and that is if the opponent is low on health, you do a heavy from whatever position you were in, which you immediately feint, and then do a charged heavy at the same position. This is 45 or 50 damage, and it guarantees you an execution. By the way, Mighty Madman 90, if you don't know him, he is a small-time YouTuber with a very fast-growing channel, and he makes guide videos as well, so I can only recommend you to check this out as well. Bernie Sanders, who apparently plays For Honor, he mentions an old combo which is opposite heavy, charged heavy, but this doesn't work anymore. And the same is unfortunately the case for Tony Rice's combo, which is on top parry, you top heavy and then charge top heavy. And now let's do a very simple one, which is the Orochi. And his maximum punish is quite simply double top heavy at 70 damage. And now into a completely different ballpark of difficulty, we move on to the Nobushi. And the first combo that you can do is a forward dash light attack, forward dash, then heavy. This deals 72 damage and 20 of this is from bleeding. If the opponent is close up against their wall, you can do a forward dash light attack to top light attack, kick, top heavy. This deals no less than 94 damage and 20 of this is from bleeding. If the opponent is already bleeding, you simply do a top light, delay a little bit and then top heavy. And that will grant you 68 damage. Now if the opponent is both bleeding and close to a wall, you do hidden stance, top heavy, kick, top heavy at 88 damage. And now let's divert our attention to the Shinobi. And this one is a little bit complicated, but what you must do is after pairing you change position, then you do a light and then you change guard position again, heavy light. If you do not switch guard position either of the two times, the last attack can be blocked but not parried, so it will still deal 46 damage. And the next hero we are going to cover is the Aramusha. And the maximum punish for Aramusha has been made a little easier, that is double side heavy at an amazing 85 damage. Direction of the parry and of the heavy attacks, they don't matter. And now on to the final samurai hero, the Hitokiri. And the Hitokiri's maximum punish is also quite simple, 2 heavy attacks from any direction. And parry direction doesn't even matter either. And since Hitokiri can do infinite combos, steals 2000 suggested following this up with a charged unblockable, and that can lead into another parry and then you continue indefinitely. Another possible combo, that is if the opponent is low on health, you can do a light attack, charged heavy. It deals only 2 less damage, but it makes the opponent open for an execution. And now on to the Ulin faction, and we begin with the Tiandi. His maximum punish is super easy, any light, any heavy. A difference now from before is that the direction of the light attack no longer matters. Now that was simple, so let's move on to Jiangjun. And his maximum punish is zone attack to top heavy. This works both for out of stamina parries and out of stamina chokes. Do note that the choke no longer deals 5 damage. And finally, I had a suggestion from FX, and that is to force a reaction by doing a light attack to unblockable, but actually do a top heavy attack to unblockable. That might actually lead you to another parry. And next up we have the Nuxia. Her maximum punish is the same as usual, it is light heavy light, and the direction of these attacks, they don't matter. And now we are finally about to be done, we just have the last hero remaining, and that is of course the Shaolin. And his punish is a little bit difficult, it goes as follows. 2 out of 3 side lights, hold down the side heavy to enter cheese stance and then move stick to upwards position, let go, so you do a flying top heavy. This is 58 damage. Sam Bogus asked me 2 months ago if you need to delay the light attacks, and no you do not, you have to do it as fast as absolute possible. But it is very difficult. Luckily though, there's an easier combo which Hunger Gamer points out, that is light heavy light. So that is much easier, but it deals only 49 damage. And I think that concludes everything. So thank you very much for watching, and also thank you to everyone who left comments. It was very nice to try all these suggestions out. If you left a comment and I didn't include it in the video, then I'm very sorry. I tried to catch everyone, but maybe I have overlooked some. In any case, hope you have a great day and enjoy the summer.